Hey, this is the Make Sense Again American, where everything I say makes absolute sense. I'm going to talk about the topic that everybody else is talking about. Yes, I always wait a couple of days before I give my input. Just for the record, ladies and gentlemen, there will never be a cop in an elementary school. Do you understand me? It's unheard of. Stop thinking that way. No cops in elementary schools. Now, am I for cops in elementary schools? Of course I am. But it's never going to happen. And here's why it makes sense. First of all, if there was a cop in the school, do you have any idea how that would set the liberal agenda back? There's a cop wearing a regular shirt but showing off his arms. He got the tattoos. He has the walk. He has the badge. He has the gun. Little girls will fall in love with him. Whether he's white, black, Hispanic, Asian, doesn't matter. He means business. Man is in a uniform. And he trusts these babies. He is right there for them, showing them that he will protect them. And that's got to be a no-no. No. We can't have that. I don't need you yet. You stay put. You get the hell out of the schools. Can you imagine a female cop inside the schools? How many little girls would love to be her, and they'll befriend her, and they'll know her, and it'll be like, cops are great people. Cops are awesome. I know this cop. She gave me $2 because I didn't have enough for, such and such. She was so sweet and I love her and I'll never forget that cop. There'll be Facebook posts about how this cop helped me and the cop was just there. I feel so protected and I love him. Boys will have man crushes on these cops. Hey, there's Mr. Marcus, and Mr. Marcus is a good guy and he's a good cop. That kills everything. You leave the cops out of the elementary schools. I'd rather you get blasted by a psycho than commiserate with a cop. All right? It's sad, but it's how it is. In the Jewish community, they have these cops and they pay out of their own pockets for these Jewish schools to have Jewish cops. And females are watching these cops and everybody is looking at them like these people are my heroes. They're paid for in their private Jewish schools by their Jewish parents, and it's awesome. It has to happen here, though. But no, it won't happen here. They will not let some cop come in there and play hero. And like I said, little boys will actually be like, I know this guy. He's a good guy. And liberals don't want that. That goes against the agenda. How dare you put a man in uniform in front of boys? It's unheard of. I'd rather you get blasted by a psycho than for you to sit there and be comfortable with a police officer. A friend of mine who's a cop said that he was at a store, or could have been the library, could have been anywhere, but it was outside the school, the school gates, He was just out and about. And the mother says, aguas, cuidado, which is careful. The cop's gonna take you. The cop's gonna take you. And he checked that woman and says, how dare you make that kid scared of a cop? That kid needs to embrace a police officer. Don't do that again, which made complete sense. And so he's like, if you see a cop, hey, kids, be careful. That's the bad guy. That is not the bad guy. He's wearing a badge. He has a gun and he's ready to protect you. So that was a stupid move on mom's part to talk like that. But it was a Spanish mom. And so she didn't know, but she knows now. Don't do that to cops because cops are not the bad guys. But it's almost like the liberal agenda. Now, the reason I say that cops will be needed later, it's real simple. I said it in another video, Black History Month, the video that says BHM. Anyway, but I'll say it again. I'll make it real quick and real brief. When you're a little kid, they can't scream at you. They can't yell at you. And when you go home, we can't whip your ass. Other government will arrest us, which is the government, which is, the city, a government person will come get us. CPS, government. Law enforcement, government, what I'm saying? The courts, government, all right? Then he goes to school and he can't get yelled at by the teacher, so the government will come down on you. And the government, you're not allowed to use red ink to mark X. The government. Everything is just this, we'll raise your kids. Bull crap. So anyways, here are these kids, they get a little older and they're now in the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, which is junior high school. Can't be paddled, can't be disciplined. If you even touch me with a belt or something like that, I will call CPS and they'll have you for child abuse. How dare you hurt this child and touch this child? So the parents' hands are tied. Now I get a phone call because my son refuses to wear a mask. He doesn't want to wear a mask. And she calls me and says, have you done something about it? And I told her, and I opened her eyes, and I'll open your eyes too. It's a liberal agenda. I can't tell him anything. Number one, because I support him. He doesn't have to wear a mask. This COVID thing is ridiculous. And he really doesn't want to wear a mask. I mean, what do you want me to do? But he was about to fail school until they just lifted the mask mandates, which is good. But anyways, let me get back to what I was saying. He decided not to wear the mask, and she asked me, do I discipline him? And I said, well, I can't discipline him. There's nothing I can tell this kid. I said, nothing you could tell him either. You can't threaten him with anything. I can't threaten him with physical violence or pain. Otherwise, you'll come down on me. And it's real simplistic. If he was a black kid and there was a cop and he never got yelled at, he never got bitched at or told what to do. Sit down, shut up. I said sit down. Just things like that. Just real orders, basic, strict orders, in your face type commands. He never had that before. All of a sudden now he's on his bike and there's a cop. And since the majority of the cops are white, because the majority of the cops are Marine, military, Navy, Army, Marines. And so the majority of the cops are white because they leave the military and then become cops. So they have white skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, or what have you. You know what I'm saying, white cops. Now you have this white cop screaming in your face. Talk about sit down, shut up. That is your first experience getting yelled at. The principal couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. All right. The teacher couldn't do it. The hall monitor couldn't even do it. And all of a sudden now, you've got this white guy yelling at you, and it's perfect. It's the liberal agenda. You actually feel like a victim, like racism just kicked in. You ain't got to talk to me like that, man. You ain't got to talk to me like that. I was in a different city, and we shouldn't have been at this bar. We really shouldn't have. They even told us, you really shouldn't have been here. But it was me, 2 Mexicans, and 6 black guys. And one of them's name was Red. Well, my stupid ass Mexican, he's not even a friend of mine, but he was a coworker. His name was Edgar. Touches a girl's hand, and all hell broke loose. Not only did the security come to us, but they called the police on us. So here's a cop, and the cop is talking to Edgar, and Edgar's like, I promise on everything on my baby. I was just moving, I was walking, and my hand moved, and it touched her hand. I promise you, bull. I saw the whole thing. He pulled her hand, which is, yeah, you could call it an assault, but I mean, he's trying to holler at a girl, a pretty white girl. I'm not gonna lie, she was cute, but she wasn't interested in Edgar or Mexicans, whatever. He was a Mexican dude. But on the other side of the aisle, there was a cop talking to Red. And I remember Red was trembling because Red said, it wasn't me. Why are you talking to me? And the cop says, I just need you to understand that you shouldn't do that. But I didn't, okay, I'm sorry, but it wasn't me. Yeah, I understand that, but you shouldn't do that. And he kept trying to trigger Red. He kept trying to, Red was trembling. Red was like, how many times do I have to tell you? I didn't do anything. Oh, yeah, I know, I get it, but you really shouldn't do that. And so it's like that tactic that blacks do. I'll say it, yeah, the blacks do. Whenever black people scream at you, scream at your kid, yank your purse, want to do something, and then you use that word, now they're mad because you used it. Now it no longer has to do with the altercation. You use the word, and now that's it. The same tactic that the cops do. The cop wanted to trigger Red. He wanted to make Red raise his voice. He wanted Red he was going to make Red cry because Red didn't know what to do. Red just got out the penitentiary. That I do remember. But Red was like trembling. And so I went up to the cop and says, what do we got to do to make this conversation? It just sounds like you're being repetitive. And the cop says, well, I just want to make sure. I said, you said that already. We heard you 7 times. I said, I think we're done. And they got a little upset at me, but we were done. I said, you want to yell at somebody, yell at that guy there for touching her arm by accident. Let's just erase this whole night, call it a night. I said, come on, and I actually was a voice of reason. I was impressed, but I have a way of talking to people. And so I was a voice of reason. Having said that, if Red would have acted like I said it wasn't me, you it would have been over with. People would have got arrested. Red would have been aggressive, showing that, a little altercation, showing that he's being a little combative. You know what I'm saying? So, and Red was pissed, and tears were coming out this poor bastard's eye. And he wasn't no little black kid. He was a grown ass man. Okay? He was just getting confronted. And why they chose him, I think they chose it because he was the biggest one. And they wanted to punk him. They wanted him to mess up. They knew we were outsiders. working over here. They knew we were from, another city and so on. So they were like, you know what, let's try to get something going. Nothing happened. We didn't apologize to the white girl. We just left. We said, we're leaving right now. Everybody jump in. We're leaving. Nobody's getting arrested. We're turning our backs to you. It's over. But think about how Red felt. Red felt discriminated. He felt targeted. He felt uncomfortable at the least. It's a tactic. They don't want you to get yelled at. They don't want you to get screamed at. But when you do finally get screamed at, it's not your mommy. It's a cop with white skin and blue eyes. Then you got all these people saying racist cops, the way they treated me. They told me to sit on the ground. They grabbed me. They grabbed my system. I couldn't. They did all this, but that's what they're trained to do. So on this side, the cops are trained to be aggressive and try to neutralize the situation. But on your side, it's I got black skin and the way you talk to me is uncomfortable. It's perfect. The liberal agenda makes sense. So yeah, no cops in elementary school, but cops at high school. It's perfect. Now, if cops were in elementary school, a man in uniform, this would all be over. But they're never going to put cops in uniforms in your elementary school. Forget it. Stop it. Don't think. No, it's not going to happen. Never. Hold on. Oh, shit. There's a man in uniform coming this way. Oh, he's going to the school. Oh, he's walking in. And he's got a uniform on. So it's a man. You can definitely tell it's a man. And he's got a book. Let me see what it says. The book says, Jane and her toys that she likes to hide inside. What the hell? Hello, kids. Let's all gather around. My name is Queen Chris, and I'm going to go ahead and give you this lecture. Oh, so you'll let that man in uniform in your schools, but not a cop in uniform. This all makes sense. It's the liberals running your schools, allowing drag queens to tell stories to your kids. And he has a uniform, and it's a dress. It's disgusting. When you make sense of it all, you just make sense of it all. This doesn't make sense to get American. I know I haven't been here for a while, but this one I had to talk about. I really am heartbroken about those babies over in Texas and that jerk-off sick puppy, that piece of that trans. By the way, we recognize her as the first trans. Yeah, I said it. If we recognize the one swimming, we recognize the boxer, we recognize the one on Jeopardy, we're going to recognize her. I recognize you as the first tranny to jump into the arena and do what boys do, sick boys do, which is ruin people's lives and do something to their babies. You piece of trash. I wish you were alive. On that note, yeah, this is the Make Sense Again American. That makes sense. Why the cops can't be there for little babies, but the cops can be there later. If you have a debate or misunderstand or feel like it doesn't make sense, listen to the video again until it finally drills in. No cops for elementary kids. None! We'll meet you later. By the way, the cops are supposed to talk to you like that. It's not racism. It's their job. I know it's stupid. I've been talked to like that. Nah, I can handle it because I had a Spanish mom that talked to me like that all the time. So I'm like, yeah, all that talk, yeah, it goes nowhere. You can find more, how you say, you can catch more flies with honey than you can vinegar. But sometimes, oh yeah, they got to bring the sour stuff. On that note, hit me back. Hope I enlightened you.